For coming tonight. It's great to see you all here, and thank you DFA folks for putting on the debate. We are going to talk a lot of policy tonight, so I'm going to save that for later, and I want to start by telling you a little bit about myself and the things that matter to me. I grew up in the 23rd District on West Boulevard, later in Hewlands Lake. A lot of my relatives still live in the 23rd District. And I was a graduate, the first graduating class to go all 3 years at Rockbridge Senior High School. And yes, there was nothing out there. I am not a lifelong resident. I left town to go to college at Webster College in St. Louis. Spent several years in New York City, which is where I met my husband Todd. 26th anniversary on Friday. And I entered the business world to help put him through law school. Well, not put him through, but get him through, I guess. And I continued to do that when we came back to St. Louis in 1987. Of course, I knew in some way that not everybody had had opportunity the way I had in Columbia. A lot of opportunity here in this town, and a lot of lessons learned about hard work and about being part of something bigger. But I guess I didn't understand a lot of those things until I went to Peru to adopt my son in 1990. I mean, I understood them in my head, but there I really came to understand what some of those things meant and how different things were in this country and how fortunate we were, for the most part. There was no opportunity in Peru. People worked really hard and they made no progress whatsoever. And the only reason they survived at all was because of a very tightly knit community. When we came back, I decided it was important to use my business skills in a way that would really help people more directly. I went back to school and got my master's in social work at Washington University and also adopted our daughter Jessica. And I came then to know people in this country who were in some ways more impoverished than those people that I met in Peru. They also didn't have any opportunity. They also worked hard and didn't make much progress, but many of them didn't even have a network to fall back on. Their families were broken, their neighborhoods were blighted, they were isolated. I decided, having known those families, that was the best work I could do, was working with kids and families and trying to help build the networks that would keep them going. I was fortunate to go to work for Legal Services of Eastern Missouri, and later for Citizens for Missouri's Children, and even more fortunate that that work brought us back to Columbia 10 years ago. During the last 10 years, I have worked on a broad range of policy issues, including education and child health and abuse and neglect. But more importantly, I have worked with an even broader group of people. I have worked with conservatives and liberals and urban and rural. I have worked with administrators and elected officials to try and craft and implement policies that work for people. And one of the things I've learned from that experience is how important it is to keep communication flowing constantly between the people who make policy and the citizens it's intended to serve. Even the best intentioned policy can go amiss when it's put into practice. I've seen it a number of times. So that, to me, is critical. The last 6 years in the Missouri legislature have seen the full implementation of the term limit laws that we passed. And for me, it has been government in chaos. We have gained a little from that, perhaps, but lost more. We have lost people who are really connected to their communities and who know how to use public policy to address their community needs. We have lost people with a long-term perspective. And in doing that, we have focused on policies that don't build the common good, but rather harass individuals. And we have focused on policies that avoid the hard work of building our consensus for the future. We're looking for easy answers and they're not there. And what I would say is that without connection and without vision, we're always going to have partisanship that trumps stewardship. That's what I would like to change. I think that was my 30-second warning. I have to be fast. By my yardstick, those policies don't measure up.